So, at time of recording, wedding season is upon us here in wonderful Ontario, Canada. And I shot my first spring wedding this past weekend with my friend Liam. And I thought it'd be fun to go through all the stuff that I am bringing to weddings for both photo and video hybrid coverage. And it's mainly Nikon setup. So, we're going to go over that, the things that I like, the things I don't like, what I want to change and replace, all that kind of stuff, why I chose certain items. And let's just get into it. So for those of you who don't know, my name is Chris Tejas. I'm a photographer and videographer based in Ontario, Canada. I mainly shoot portraits, events, and weddings, people, basically. Now that we're into wedding season, what is my gear and what is my setup? We're gonna start with the cameras. And the first camera that we're gonna talk about is the Nikon ZF. So the ZF is a camera that I absolutely adore. It is very, very fun for photography. It's really fun for weddings. And to be honest, if I was only shooting photo, I would probably just have two of these as my setup because I think they're great. I love the image quality out of them. I like the usability of them. And when I'm shooting weddings, one thing I will note is that I do tend to use a grip. I don't use a grip very often with this camera outside of weddings, but weddings being an all-day affair, I do find it more comfortable. So this is the small rig grip. There's lots of other ones though, and I don't know which is better. This is the only one I have, and my buddy Liam gave it to me, which was nice. For this, the way I have it set up, now that they've got the updated firmware, it's really, really easy. Basically, I usually have it set to auto ISO, and then I control my shutter speed, and I will adjust my exposure wheel in order to get the exposure that I'm looking for. If I find it's a little too hot or it's it's a little too dark. But that's basically it. That is my go-to camera. I am typically shooting in a single shot. I'm not doing like burst shot for anything like that. It's set to AFC, and I'm using the all area as well as the 3D tracking. So that's that. Great little camera. The only thing I would love to see is maybe in the future, it'd be cool to see like a 33 or 45 megapixel version of this, like a high res version. That would be dope. The Nikon Z6 III, which we're filming on right now, so I can't show you it, but that is my other go-to camera. It is definitely better for hybrid coverage. I think it's just a little bit faster and easier to use in that scenario and a little bit more robust in terms of what you can do with it, codecs, stuff like that. But the ZF is still very capable, but the Z6 III, to me, if I had to choose one camera, if I was only working on one camera and I had to do photo and video, it would be the Z6 III. So, take that for what it's worth. I have the Z6 III set up exactly the same way in terms of my autofocus. So I'm using the all area and then 3D tracking by hitting the little AF on button, or on the ZF, it's the AEL, AFL, but it's set up the same way. I can jump between the cameras really, really easily and quickly, and that's nice. I do also tend to, when I'm shooting hybrid, I will set my second function button, which is the front bottom button. I will set that to punch into DX crop, which basically lets me automatically punch in 1.5 times, which you can just do in post and it's the same thing, but it's a little bit faster in the edit if you don't have to do that. So if I want some extra reach for my video, that's usually how I'll do it. I don't tend to do that for photo, but that is my kind of video hybrid setup. In terms of lenses, I do have a few that I bring with me. I shoot all primes. That might change in the future, but right now I like shooting all primes. And my go-to setup on the Z6 III, I tend to have this guy here, which is the 50mm f1.4. And then on the ZF, I tend to have the 28mm f2.8, which is what we're filming on right now. But it looks like that because this is the 40mm, and they look very, very similar. So that's how I tend to kind of dual carry. I go with my wider shots with the ZF and then the tighter shots with the Z6 III. If I'm shooting like a hybrid coverage, I might actually swap that, because I do find that I use the 28mm for a lot of video stuff if I'm trying to get like more people in the frame and stuff like that. So it might be that I switch that up and I have the 28mm on the Z6 III and the 50mm on the ZF. But those are my go-to focal lengths for most of the wedding. These are great lenses, but there certainly are higher quality lenses you can get from Nikon. You could replace this 50mm 1.4 with the 1.8S or the 1.2S, and you would get, sharper images. But for what it's worth, I really like the quality of the images that come out of this anyways, and it's enough for me. 28mm, there's not really an equivalent to it in like a higher quality version. You could look at something like the 26mm f2.8, which is a definitely sharper lens. It's a little bit wider, but it does give you that similar field of view. So that would be an option if you wanted to go with a lens that's a little bit sharper. But I just love the feel and the look and everything of the 28. And it's a very versatile lens for me. I can use it for all my YouTube stuff. I can use it for street photography, all that kind of thing. So it definitely plays a big part in my wedding day. I also find with video, I do tend to stop down on those sunny days anyways, so it does sharpen up a fair bit when you get into that f5.6 range. And with the 28mm, it's not like we're talking super dreamy bokeh anyways, so stopping down isn't a big deal. The 28mm also plays a really nice role in party photos, so when we're actually doing things like dance and stuff like that, going nice and wide with this, getting that direct flash look is really easy with this lens, and it's really lightweight. So if I'm throwing this on my camera with a big flash on top, which we'll talk about in a second, it's not like it's super, super heavy. Like if I were to go with, let's say the 14-24, for example, which is a heavier lens than this, that might feel a little bit more draining when I'm, holding the camera above my head and pointing down at people and stuff. This is just a really nice little lens for that. Quick pause here for a shameless plug. I have launched my new website. I have a photography website for my weddings, and I've launched a new website where I'm going to be hosting more of my portfolio work, as well as some cool new presets that I have made available. They're the ones that I use on all of my photos. You can get them for either Sony, Nikon, or Canon. It's just 3 simple presets. It's a nice, easy way to start your edit. So you can jump over to my website if you're interested in those. Let's get back to the video. So those are my go-to lenses, but I do bring a couple of other ones with me. Usually I will actually bring the 40mm just in my bag because it's small, and if something's up with my 50mm f1.4, the 40mm f2 is a decent alternative. It's not exactly the same, but I would say overall having this lens as a backup is good. And the other one that I bring is this guy here. This is the 85mm f1.4 Aurora from Sirui. I do have a you know what? I actually have a review on all these lenses on my channel. So I'll link all those down below and you can learn more about them. I really like this lens. This is what I'm going to use typically a lot in ceremony, because with ceremony, I don't like to get super, super close. So going with like the 50mm or the 28mm is just not always appropriate. The 28mm can be great for getting some like wide shots, but a lot of times I'm using the 85mm so I can be a little bit further back. I can still get some environment, but I can also get some really dreamy, beautiful, photos out of it. And for things like first kiss and stuff like that, if I'm at the sort of back of the aisle, it allows me to get enough of a crop into them that I can still isolate them to a degree, but you still get a little bit of context. If there's something like a nice arch or something like that, you can still get it in the frame. I'll also use that for some of my couples portraits, although I tend to be on the 50mm more for those. However, the 85mm will be great if I'm doing just like single portraits of, let's say, the groom during prep or the bride. If I'm getting solo photos, the 85mm is really nice. Moving on to flash, I have 2 flashes, and I think these will change a little bit soon, but I will for sure be continuing to use this. So this is the Godox V100. This is a fairly new flash from Godox. It's cool. It has a really nice interface to it. It's a little bit more powerful than some of their other flashes. It is a round head flash, which I do like, and you can get some accessories to put on that, which I sometimes bring with me. It also comes with the ability to put a little front flash here, so you can get a direct flash with a fill flash look, which is pretty cool. I haven't used that a ton on wedding days, but I do think that that is a good option. It also has a USB-C rechargeable battery, which is super nice. So this is my kind of go-to, as well as this one here. So this is the V1 from Godox. Also a great, great option. I would say, do you need to pay the extra money to get the V100? No, you could just go with the V1. I really like it. You can't charge it via USB-C though, which does suck. And I wish you could do that. That would be very, very nice. You can't charge the battery that way, which is a bummer. However, the interface is still really good. It's really fast and easy to use. It's a great, great flash. So I would say the V1 and the V100N are great options. I might replace this with the V100 at some point, but right now I'm pretty happy. I only really picked this up because I was, able to get it for free. To be honest, I would have just stuck with these. Having said that, if you're someone who shoots a ton of flash and you do like working with Godox, I would probably say the update to this is nice purely for that battery and some of the nice touch interface on it. I find it's just faster and easier to use. You can see it better in various different lighting scenarios compared to the other ones. So yeah, lots of good updates with this. Moving on to film cameras, I do shoot film at weddings only if they request it. It is something that I make available in all of my packages, and I love when people do request it. So if you're thinking of working with me, think about film. I have 2 cameras that I use. If I am just bringing a camera for fun and I'm just gonna grab a few snaps, It's probably going to be this guy here. This is the Minolta X700. And with it, I have a 28 mil and a 50 mil, basically copying exactly what I do with my ZF and Z6 III. I have those lenses there. This is a fully manual focus camera. However, I do bring a different camera if I am doing more dedicated film coverage. Let's say I'm trying to make sure I shoot 4 or 5 rolls throughout a day and I'm capturing all the moments on digital and film. I'm gonna bring this guy here. This is the EOS 1N. This is an autofocus camera. This is an incredible camera. I love the images that come out of this. And with this, I bring the 50 mil f1.8 and the 28 mil f1.8, and those are my two go-tos. So again, mimicking what I do. So 28 and 50 have somehow just become what I love to shoot, and so I have that for all of my system. If you're curious about film photography and like what stocks I use and stuff like that, let me know and we'll make a dedicated video to that. But for now, this is sort of the camera, lens, flash setup. Something that I've just recently added to the lineup with this most recent wedding that I shot with Liam is this guy here. This is a harness. So this is a dual camera harness. This is the vegan leather harness from Holdfast. They sent this over for review, which was incredibly kind of them. And I'm waiting to do a review on it until I've had it for enough weddings that I feel like it's fair. But what I can say right away is that, firstly, super comfortable. Secondly, I really like the look of it. I think the vegan leather looks really nice. It's super durable. Everything about it, the build quality is really, really nice. Spoiler alert, this is going to be a very positive review that I give this. So if you're hoping I'm going to trash it, you're probably not going to want to watch the video. Literally the only thing I can say about it that is not even negative, but just something I'm aware of is the fact that it's very new. So it's a little like stickier in a way. Like I would say like bringing the cameras up right away. Like if I have them hanging here and I bring them up to take a photo, there's a little bit more resistance than I think there will be in 6 months when I've used it a bunch. So literally nothing bad I can say about this. It's an awesome, awesome harness. Yeah, it comes in a bunch of different colors. And it's really cool that they do a vegan version of it because that's the biggest hiccup for me when it comes to stuff like this. I don't want to be wearing animals. And so not having to do that as much as possible is great. Sometimes you can't avoid it, but I'd rather go without than wear it typically. And what am I putting all of these into? So if you haven't seen my review yet of this guy here, this is the Wotancraft 10-liter Pilot. This is my favorite bag of all time. That is the bag that I'm going to use for all my wedding days for the foreseeable future. I have no reason to think that I will literally ever change until it totally falls apart, at which point I'll probably buy a new one because I absolutely adore this bag. And with that, I have added, and I have this in for testing, and I haven't made a video about it yet because I've only used it a couple times, and I want to give it some more mileage, but I have this guy here. This is the accompanying bag that goes with the 10-liter. This is the 18-liter Pilot backpack, and it is amazing. It feels so, so comfortable. I think it's a nice volume. It holds a good amount overall, and it works in the same sort of like idea or approach in terms of the versatility, the fact that you can add on little things using all the little hooks and straps here. It stays upright on its own, which is super nice. It fits a 16-inch laptop, which is awesome. I don't have one of those, but that's awesome for those of you who do. And it looks good. They all look good together. You can get them in black as well if you want to go a little bit more under the radar, but I personally really like the look of this. Everything else I have is black, but it's kind of nice to just switch it up a little bit. And frankly, I don't know. I saw the black ones and they look beautiful, but I just wanted something different. Everybody else brings a black backpack, and maybe it's just me wanting to be different and weird. I don't know. So this is my go-to kit for a wedding. All of this fits into these two bags really, really nicely. I don't necessarily bring all of it all the time. Obviously, if I'm not shooting film, I'm not bringing this. But beyond that, everything else does come. And then in terms of other things, usually in my car, I will have things like a change of shoes, a change of shirt, an umbrella. I'll bring extra like battery packs, and I usually will have like a backup camera. Right now it's the Canon 6D. So if something happens to both of my digital cameras somehow, I can still use that with the 28 and the 50 mil and be okay. I also actually really love the 6D. I would love to shoot a wedding on it because it's a really fun camera, but I don't know that I can totally justify that for my couples. The last thing I will tell you is that very recently, my incredible partner for my anniversary put together this amazing box. It's like it's just like a little box that is filled with everything that a couple or a bridal party or whatever could need in terms of on a wedding day. So it has things like, like a lint roller, it has like feminine care products, it has, Tylenol and aspirin, it has like nail clippers and scissors and band-aids and Listerine and literally everything. She got clear nail polish to fix a run in tights. Like, she thought of everything. It's incredible. And so that lives in my car, and that's something that I can always pull from as needed. I don't bring it in with me because that would look wild, but 99% of the time my car is going to be close enough that if somebody's having an issue, I can get to my car in under 5 minutes and totally save the day. So that's incredible. Now, my neighbor seems to be mowing his driveway, which is weird because it's gravel. But that's probably a good enough time for us to finish up. So let me know in the comments below, what are you shooting on for your wedding season or for your portrait season or whatever season you have coming up? What are you shooting on? Is it similar to me? What do you like? And I'll talk to you soon. Okay, peace. Keep it down over there, Jordy.